Hello and welcome. My name is TyrionLanstr. Now for today I wanted to take a look at the brand new shop that we got out of the new Glorious Battle game mode. Now this is a revision on the token shop that many people are probably familiar with from both the KVK and CCS events, in which you get either battle or bravery tokens based on basically killing troops or losing troops. As you can see here, basically during CCS or War of the Kingdoms and Glorious Battle now, you'll earn both Valor points and these types of bravery tokens or battle tokens. So they have the description right here. You can read them, but you get more battle tokens for killing T4 troops versus T3, and similarly for losing T4 versus T3 troops. You don't get any from killing or losing T1 or T2 troops. Now, the important thing to notice here, this top half, these top five, were basically what we had, or sorry, the top two rows of five. Those are what we were used to it being, and as you can see, it's a little bit better to have the golden bravery battle tokens, because they are a little bit cheaper versions of the more expensive versions with bravery tokens. But now that we have gotten to the Glorious Battle, they've added a third row, and this third row is exclusively available through bravery tokens. Now, many of you may be looking at mine and wondering why I all of a sudden have so many bravery tokens. Not that I have that many, but about 200,000, and I already spent about 2,500 getting one of these, which I'll get to in a second. But this is because in the Glorious Battle, we found out very quickly early on that you will accumulate a lot of bravery tokens if you hit some of the non-player computer castles without a reinforcement army skill. I'll get into that in a moment, in a later video, really, when I talk about Glorious Battle a little bit more and my thoughts on it. But so far what we've noticed is you get a lot of troops dead like that, and so you get a lot of bravery tokens out of it. But it's good because it means you have access to these new nice things. So I'm going to go through them one at a time. First, let's start on the left here. We get the approaching enemy photo chest. This is a new photo in the second chapter album. And this is one that's pretty nice because it gives the total enemy total attack reduction. I think it's 1.5%, but let's just check and make sure. So if I go to my album. Sorry about that. Try that again. Alright, so if I open my level 2 album, it should be right here once the wolf head goes away. There we go. And yeah, 1.5% enemy total attack reduction, and you get, it looks like 3,000 single training quantity. Not a big deal, but the enemy total attack reduction definitely is good. And as everyone knows, whenever you get to something with the album, it's just one of those things where eventually you want to get through all of them because there's something satisfying about completing that. So you can get up to 10 of those that would in theory complete this photo for you. The next thing over, though, is the Warrior's Inspiration. Now, everyone probably has practically unlimited of the regular version of this that gives 20%, and 20% for 4 hours usually. This one is a army attack increase of 40%, but only for 1 hour. I think this is probably the best thing on here. This is a huge buff. I mean, 40% of army attack is great. I mean, 20% army attack is a huge buff, and it's definitely worth getting, saving for, you know, a UC event or a KVK, whenever you might need it. That extra army buff might be really meaningful. So definitely a good, interesting new purchase that my guess is that this is going to become a pretty much an expected standard, the way that the 20% buff was. So definitely something to invest in soon. But moving right along, next we have the Glorious Battle Double Time March. Now, basically this costs us just 75,000, so not too expensive, cheaper than any of these other badges would be. Sorry, I didn't mention these before. This one was 600,000 for the photo, and then 250,000 for the 40% buff. So this one's a little bit cheaper. What it does is it basically increases your marching speed by 30% for 30 minutes just in the Glorious Battle. All three of these last ones are just in the Glorious Battle. So increasing this marching speed is actually pretty helpful. One of the things that you'll find from playing is that some of the marching speeds are pretty long. Like, it takes a little while to get different places, and I don't think it affects the resilience to have the marching speed faster, but definitely from a, getting to a place sooner, definitely helps. And also, there are a lot of these things that are timed. You only have an hour to complete them, and getting to a building quicker will make a large difference in whether or not you're able to actually capture it or not. So definitely not without its value, this one. Okay, next up, you have the Glorious Battle skill. Basically, this one is just going to reduce the resilience that is lost whenever you win by 30%. I will admit, I think resilience is something people are still kind of figuring out what it means. If you go back to the Glorious Battle rules, there's a whole chart explaining how resilience matches up with things, and I'll go to that in a second and show it to you. But essentially, you're going to lose less resilience whenever you battle, and there's a whole equation there you can figure out exactly what's going to happen. But this is worth 100,000 Bravery Tokens, is how much it costs. Finally, for 200,000 Bravery Tokens, you can get the Vanquish, which increases your enemy casualty rate by 10% for 30 minutes. Now, I expect this to be used a lot right when battles are about to happen. So, as many people probably know from if you've started playing Glorious Battle or read about it, what will happen is you'll have a kind of 10-hour timer before someone lays siege to a different structure that you have. And my assumption is that you will, as someone preparing for it, either to attack or defend, you can kind of plan out when you're going to drop that buff to increase the casualty rate by 10%. I think that's a really important buff. That's going to be very, very meaningful. I mean, if you have the dragon skill that increases their casualty by 10%, if you have this buff, and then if you have 2 potions depot, that's a total of 30% more enemy casualty rate. That would bring you up to 50%. Just for some perspective, that means that they're going to be having 50% more deaths, to my understanding, which sounds kind of absurd almost to think about. But 50% casualty rate is going to be very, very painful for a lot of people doing battle, and I think it's going to make them want to stop doing battle with you pretty quickly. So definitely an interesting one. But these 5 are just, I love that they've added them to it. I think for a lot of people that have a ton of these tokens, they just become kind of worthless to them. They have nothing else to buy once they've gotten all the way upgraded whatever it is that they wanted, assuming people want the infantry, cavalry, or spear war badges. But it's great that they're adding more things to the shop, kind of keeping it interesting. I like that they've put limits on it. I think that makes it kind of something that you're incentivized to buy early. I will say that as I'm recording this is on Friday. If you can get it in today or tomorrow, then you might be able to get one of these before they all reset. So definitely something, if you have the money for it, or really the bravery tokens for it, I would recommend doing. And really quickly, I mentioned resilience a lot. I'm just going to quickly hop over and show you this in the rules. You go down to, I believe it's under the military positions. Yeah, right here it has this chart of what the current resilience is and basically what that means for your damage coefficient and for your final damage taken. You can see there's a whole equation here. If you want to read more about that, obviously feel free. But it says that every 5 seconds of marching uses 1 resilience, and every battle uses 15 resilience. So my assumption is that actually if it's 5 seconds of marching, that increasing your marching speed will lower the resilience loss. So that is a big key if you can raise that marching speed for yourself a little bit. And yeah, basically the point is more resilience, more damage, so you want to have more resilience. As you can see down here all the way at 180, getting 140 as your final damage coefficient, and the final damage taken only at 60 versus if you have none, you're dealing only 30 final damage and you're taking 200. So not exactly what you're looking for. But hope this helped. Hope people get a better understanding of this new token shop. Definitely exciting. Lots of fun stuff to get in there. And I wish you the best. But until next time, this is TyrionLanstr. See you around.